Suste everyone! Hi everyone! Today I wanted to do this video to tell you about a recent trip I went on to Cambodia. I went on a 2-week mission trip with some of my friends from uni and another person from UWA, and also an apprentice electrician and 2 staff workers from the uni I attend. We went for 2 weeks and we did a bit of sightseeing, and we went to visit people in their houses. We shared our testimonies with them, and it was just a great cultural experience for me and for everyone that went. Some people, it was the first time they had left Australia. For me, I had been to Asian countries before, but nothing like it. I've been to Hong Kong, Taiwan, Bali. It was a bit similar to Bali, but in my opinion a lot poorer than Bali, but maybe just because all the places I went to in Bali were very touristy and weren't very poor in a sense. So I'll just show you something. I'm wearing my Angkor Cambodia t-shirt. I got the blue one for me and accidentally got the purple one for my brother, kid size 10, and I was willing to swap so he could have the purple one and I have the purple one and he had the blue one, but he said this one's a girl design because it's a V-neck and the purple one's a round neck, so he just wear the purple one. So anyway, I just wanted to do this quick video just to tell you my experience in Cambodia. I'm sorry, I've just been having some trouble with the camera SD card saying it's full, so I had to format it, so hopefully it should work now. So yeah, one cultural difference between Cambodia and Australia is the way you greet people. In a formal way, when we went to the churches or people's houses or greeting people when we first saw them, we would go like this and say Chum Reap Sua, which is a formal way of saying hello. Now I noticed a lot of people when we went there, they didn't actually say Chum Reap Sua, they just went transportation wise, while we were there, we usually took a tuk-tuk. We hired a driver for about basically from the morning, sometimes 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, till about 5 o'clock, and then we'll just give them an extra $5 for dinner. So a tuk-tuk. There are tuk-tuks, motorbikes, bikes, cars and trucks. They all share the same road, and something I observed while over there is road rules basically mean nothing. No U-turn. On the road there will be a sign that says no U-turn, but everyone will still do U-turns. And there wasn't many traffic lights where we were staying. We were staying in Phnom Penh, but not in the touristy side of Phnom Penh. We stayed in the guest house, so the area we stayed in wasn't very touristy at all. So we went to the touristy part one night and we saw, yeah, there was a lot more Westerners, and I'm pretty sure there was a few more traffic lights over there, but where we stayed there was not many Westerners at all, or foreigners, expats, yep. So another, you know, the poor people over there, is a lot of people work. For instance, some people over there work all day long making little chopstick holders out of paper, and they sell it for about, I think it was about 75 cents for 1 kilo, and there's 4 or 5 of them making that. Could you 75 US? I could never imagine working all day long and only getting 75 US cents per kilo of chopstick holders. And some people there, the people in the villages we went to in the countryside, they rent is $15 a month for a land, and then they build their own houses, and some people were living in literally house, probably a lot smaller than this room, and literally all I had was a bed and a little room, like a toilet or something. And sometimes another place was just like a room, and 6 or 7 families were living in there, and a lot of places had like a small business in front of them, and then they live. And it was just really confronting. Another place we went and talked to, they just had this big giant board, wooden board, and a few hammocks. I think there was maybe a few hammocks, and that's where they slept. And then next door they were burning something, and I remember sitting there pretty uncomfortably because smoke was getting in my eyes. And the women they were getting old rice bags, cutting them in half and sewing them up to make big bags. I'm not sure how much they sold them for, a couple of dollars. It was just really confronting to see like how rich I am living in Australia compared to living over there. And just the kindness of the people. When we went over there, it wasn't as hot and as humid as I expected to be. Bali, when we went to Bali, like walk out 5 minutes and then we're like sweating and hot. There it wasn't that hot. There were even days, most nights, we slept without our aircon on and with a blanket on, or a sheet. The first hotel we went to was just a sheet. The second hotel was a thicker blanket. But they'll like turn on the fan for you because they know you're a foreigner. You probably found it really hot. As far as clothing goes, we women were told to wear t-shirts that covered our shoulders and long skirts or long pants. The men were told to wear collared shirt and long pants. I think it's more important for the men than women to cover their legs, because our team leader once walked out with shorts and he got stared at by the tuk-tuk driver. It is also important, if you want to go to the places like the Golden Palace, shown here, you have to cover your shoulders and have pants up to your knees or a long skirt. And also, if you want to go to Angkor Wat, there are rules that say you have to have pants as shown in the sign. You have to wear appropriate clothing. Pants, long pants or pants covering or up to your knees, and long skirts. Also, you will not be allowed to wear hats in many places. You have to take your hat off. I know some people weren't allowed to go into Angkor Wat because they weren't covering their shoulders, wearing t-shirts. So at least cover your shoulders. As a general rule, cover your shoulders and have pants or skirt, depending on your gender, up to your knees or covering your knees, and then you shouldn't have any problem getting into any places. And just the children, they was just so, I don't know, maybe it's because they've never seen a foreigner before, but they were just so happy, and they're like giving you high fives and saying hello, hello, hello to you, and it just melted my heart seeing how people can live like that. So a typical meal in Cambodia, the most we spent, we had a budget of $10 a day, and we never really reached that. The most we spent on a meal for 8 people was $230 or something. that was on the last night, and that's because we had $20 budget as well, and that's the only day I went over my $10 budget because I ordered a meal, and that was a slightly more expensive restaurant. That was $10 a meal, and then I had a drink for $4, and then I had a dessert, I think that was $5, and then I shared a bottle of wine, so I paid like an extra $2 for my meal that day. But yeah, so the cheapest meal we ever had in Cambodia was $2. One day we went to a complete Khmer restaurant, and the meal was $2. And there was no Westerners in that restaurant, and that meal didn't taste that good. It was like some chili roti thing. I regretted having it, and I was drinking my drink, and then I really needed to go to the toilet afterwards. It was spicy. But we went to some really nice places in Phnom Penh, where meal like, yeah, $5. I think one time I spent $5, and that was for a meal and like a entree thingy. Yeah, most meals I've probably spent $5 or $6, and that was for a meal and a drink, or a meal and a dessert. So yeah, it's really cheap meals there. Souvenirs, I did do bargaining, and then I felt bad afterwards. I might do a video later showing you some of the stuff I bought, but this is one thing. This little elephant, she told me it was $5, and I said to her, and I was like, no, I shook my head and walked away, and then I was like, how about if I buy 2 things and I'll give you $6 instead of $10 for 2 things. So I got this and a packet of pencils for $6, so $3 each instead of $5 each. And these t-shirts are made. Originally I think she said the t-shirts were $5, and I said to her, how about I buy more and I give you 3 for $6. And first she said no, then I walked away, and she like agreed. So $2 for a t-shirt. I don't know, I did feel a little bit bad afterwards walking away. I also got a selfie stick. Someone bought one in the shop for $15, a Bluetooth one, and I got one, and I thought it was Bluetooth, and then I opened it up. Wait, this is not Bluetooth, it's a volume one, so it's a selfie stick, and it's got a little, hang on, I'll just show you. So this is the selfie stick I got. It did break, so that's why it's like this. So what you do is you plug your phone into, it's got an attachment to put your phone, but you plug your phone in and then you use this button to take a photo. So this was $15, and I bargained, I got it down to 8. I think she said 10, I was like 8, and I insisted, and she's like alright. But you can see it broke a few days ago. This attachment, the top bit, detached from the bottom bit, so and then all the, whatever you call this bit, speaker thing, came out, so I glued it, but now it can't go down anymore. It can extend quite long. But now it can't go all the way down because I glued this bit back, and this bit also is supposed to be a, yeah, this bit's also supposed to go flat, but that, unfortunately, after it broke and I stuck it back, it can't go down, and this bit also can't go flat. But I tried it on my mum's phone and my phone. I just recently got a new phone, but I tried using the volume bit, it doesn't work, so I just used the timer. But that's still pretty cheap because in Australia you can get a selfie stick for $9, and I think it's only this length, like, and it doesn't have the volume thing, it's just a timer one. Maybe it's just got to do settings, but I know it worked on the iPhone because we used mine on the last lunch we had in Cambodia and also in Singapore on iPhones, and it worked. So that's just a selfie stick. In the airport I bought 2 bracelets for $4 each. I also got a bag of coffee, just about this size. I think it's 250 grams of coffee. And I realised when I got to the airport, I was so tired in the plane. On the way back we took Jetstar. On the way there we took Air Asia, and I managed to sleep there. But on the way back we took Jetstar, and I couldn't sleep, and I was filling out my declaration form, and I forgot to tick. I totally forgot that I had a bag of coffee in my carry-on backpack, because I bought it in an airport in Cambodia, and then I totally forgot to declare it. Total mistake. Oh, mosquitoes. Another thing in Cambodia, mosquitoes. Now, I had a parakeeto band, and I didn't get bitten at all. I know a lot of people, well, I thought I had a little bite, but it went away the next day, so I didn't think it was, maybe it was just something else. But even if I did, I only had like 1 or 2 bites. But I saw someone, they were applying insect repellent, and they still got bitten like 4 or 5 bites on their arm. Parakeeto band, I really recommend them. They're quite expensive, but they're really good. They cost $24.95. So it's a band like this. They cost $24.95, and they come with 2 pellets. I think I lost 1 pellet because I was opening it up in the airport and it might have fallen out of my bag. I'm really disappointed with that. But yeah, they cost $24.95, and they come with a pellet that you put into here, and 1 pellet lasts 15 days. And as I said, I don't think I got bitten the whole time I was there. And I just wore it around my wrist every day. Sleeping, showering, swimming, whatever, wore around my wrist. And I had people like, the team leader was like, "Oh, did you put this spray?" And I was like, "Oh no, I got this." He's like, and the other guy's like, "What's that, mosquito band?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, how long does it last?" I'm like, 15 days. She's like, "Oh." And then, yeah, so I had a few people ask me, "What's this?" And then another guy's like, "Is that a sweatband or something?" I'm like, "No, it's for mosquitoes." He's like, "Oh, and you haven't been bitten?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, where did you, does it have a scent or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, in there." Well, when it had the pellet in. I was like, "Oh, and how long does it, where did you get it from?" I was like, "Australia." Like, "Oh, how much was it?" I was like, "About $24. Like, "Oh, okay, well, I suppose that's better than using the spray and having tablets." So I recommend having parakeeto band, although I didn't see that many mosquitoes. I saw a few in our guest house, but this is what I recommend. I'm going to let my sister use it when she goes to Philippines as well. I just need to get some pellets. As I said, $24.95, and comes with 2 pellets. That's 30 days of protection from mosquitoes. Pretty good. What else can I tell you about Cambodia? Oh, some tourist attractions we went to. We went to the Killing Fields, and we went to the Golden Palace. Those are both in Phnom Penh. And in Siem Reap we went to Angkor Wat temples, and we also went to floating villages. A few funny things that happened while I was there. We went to visit a university. Now, if you live in Australia, the universities here are you find are very open. Like, anyone can walk in the campus. Lots of people, different ages, studying there. You don't wear a uniform. There's clubs and everything. In Cambodia, the universities are shut, not open to the general public. They wear a uniform. They have like these cards with their names and like an ID card. But we got to visit a university while there, only because we knew someone that worked there, and we attended English class. And that English class, to me, I found was so challenging. I just remember sitting there. The class started at 7 o'clock, and I remember sitting there, so like, didn't even know half the answers, and I would have got some of the answers wrong. I was just like, what is this English class? It was so hard. But yeah, so English class, totally, university is totally different over there. What else? Crime. Apparently crime's really big over there. A lot of the houses will have wire on top of the house just to prevent people stealing stuff. Also, Cambodians they hate to lose face. So often I got told that they wouldn't steal stuff from the markets because it's open space and people can see them. And also, if you're talking to them, they'll usually just say yes because they don't want to lose face, you know, like you say, oh, do you want, like, for example, ask them, do you want to become a Christian? They'll say yes because they don't want to lose face in front of you. But also, they don't want to lose face in front of their family. So if their family's Buddhist and they want to become Christian, they probably wouldn't admit it to you because their family's listening, and then they don't want to shame their family. So that's another thing that I found while we're over there. The water, we always drank from bottled water, but I used to water just normal water out of the tap to rinse my mouth. But apparently a local told us it's pretty clean. Like in Phnom Penh you can drink the water. I had been to lots of Asian countries where you can't drink the water, but sometimes it's still, you still forget sometimes, because living in Australia you just drink water out of the tap. We also got to experience a Cambodian wedding. That was pretty interesting. Typically weddings will be pop-up tent on the street, so you're just walking along the street and you see this tent and just on the middle of the road, and that's where they have their weddings. I think, if I remember correctly, a wedding can sometimes start at like 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30. I remember sleeping and then hearing music from weddings at like 6 o'clock in the morning, getting woken up. The bride gets up at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and then they go and get ready for the wedding, and then they have like a renewal wedding reception. We got there at 4 o'clock and we didn't get to see the bride till probably 8 o'clock or something. They sat outside the whole time greeting people for hours, and by the time they got to like cutting the cake, you could just tell the bride was so tired and she just wasn't into it anymore. So that was interesting. Funny things that happened in Cambodia. I got told I look Cambodian a few times. First time was in the university, and this guy was like, oh, you look like you could be a Cambodian to me. And another time was in the church. One lady was like, oh, well, they said this through a translator. Oh, you look like a Cambodian but taller and pretty face or something. And I was laughing. I was like, that's the second time I've been told that. I got told that at the university as well. I said that to my roommate. And then when we were in Angkor Wat getting the tickets, they asked me what country I was from, and I said Australia, which is like Australia. And then later I was like, did anyone get asked what country they were from? To the apprentice electrician, and she's like, no. I was like, oh, I did. I was like, maybe I should have said I was Cambodian, then I would have got like half price or something. Yeah, maybe. And then another time when we were in the airport in Siem Reap, when we're going through customs, I saw everyone was scanning their fingerprint, and I didn't have to do that. I just walked past. He just like took my passport, looked at it, stamp, and I walked right through. And I turned around and I saw people doing their fingerprints, and later I was like, oh, I didn't have to do my fingerprints. And then the team leader was like, oh, maybe because you have a kid's passport. Like, oh no, wait, but someone else had to do it. Like, maybe it's just because you look Khmer. Oh, and another time in Angkor Wat, we ordered lunch, and I got my meal before everyone else, but I was the first one to order. I looked at the menu. Yep, I want lok, put my hand up, ordered, and I got it first, and everyone was like, how did you get your meal so early? It's like, how much earlier did you order? I was like, oh, a couple of minutes. Like, yeah, but we're still waiting for us. Like, maybe it's because you look Khmer. So that was kind of, you know, weird. I don't think I look Cambodian or Khmer at all. But yeah, so that was just a brief video outlining my experience in Cambodia. Some of the culture differences, some of the things I observed while over there. You can get a lot of Western foods. I'll just quickly tell you some restaurants I recommend. Put in a link below. Jars of Clay, that's in Phnom Penh. Ban, very cheap food. Bit more Khmer, but they got fried rice and stuff. What's another one we went to? Jan's, that's more in the touristy place.
Oh, how does this like work again?
And I can't really think of any more, but I will link them in the description below. So, Chumri Blia everyone, goodbye and awkward.